Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Extravaganza with yours truly, Captain Lou, and my tag team partner extraordinaire, Mitch Bernstein. Happy September, everybody. That means it is stretch drive time for two of the best teams in Major League Baseball, the Tigers and, of course, the Philadelphia Phillies. Let's turn it over now to our host. He is the man, Mitch Bernstein.
Hello, Lou. How's it going?
Well, I'm doing good. Thank goodness we got 1 out of 3 from the Mets today, so did you a
Thank
little
you.
bit of a favor.
Thank you. I'm following this game on Gamecast. What is with these Tigers? They got the best record in the American League. What's going on?
No pitching.
Driving me nuts.
You know, they Casey Mize looked good today. Then they pulled him after 5 innings, only 69 pitches. You know, we could be the old get off my lawn, whatever you want to call it, Mitch, but I don't get it. You know, we've got a bullpen that's been taxed, and now Finnegan hopefully just tweaked his groin. Hopefully it's nothing. They give him a couple days rest, and yeah, it's
And
crazy.
how about what I'm loving? And this is interesting. You know, the Mets picked up Helsley at the deadline,
Yeah,
and he has like an 11 ERA. He gave up the 3-run homer today, right?
yeah, he
I
did.
mean, I'm laughing because at one point I was thinking, yeah, Healthy wouldn't be bad, but he has stunk up the joint.
Yeah, that's
Crazy. But let's go to football because we
okay.
want to end with baseball.
All
And
right.
because we got a baseball, our guest Jim Leeke, author Jim Leeke, is coming on. You know, Jim has written, interestingly enough, 6 baseball books. This is one of them, and the other 5. And Jim will correct me if I'm wrong. They're historical nonfiction books. Very interesting titles. So we'll talk to him briefly
Looking
about
forward to
that.
that.
But all right, NFL. We start tomorrow.
Yes.
How about that? I know you have a pick in.
Oh, the line is 7.5 right now. It's down. It was 8.5 this afternoon. I looked, and the over under is 47.5. So obviously, I'm gonna. I'm not gonna. I'm not putting money on the spread. But
No,
what I'm
okay,
doing, Mitch, is I'm gonna buy it down to a teaser parlay, and I'm gonna do a 6-point teaser, which means I'm gonna knock it down to a 1.5.
okay.
I'm going to take Philly, lay in the 1.5, and I'm going to say over 41.5 points because I think they can put up at least 30 on Dallas. And
Okay.
I just my score on it is going to be 31-17 or something like that. Philadelphia's might be close for a half, just because of the hangover with the Super Bowl and everything. But I just think they got superior talent. I'll take Philly plus 14 or 31-17, but I'm doing that teaser parlay. It's minus 120 or 125. So, it's good enough for me to put a couple of pizza pies down on that one.
All right. The you know what? Have you heard that the Eagles will not be out on the field for the banner raising ceremony?
Oh, okay.
That
Wow.
surprised a bunch of people, but the way they're thinking and the way they started spring um training camp, it's over. That's
Well, that's
past,
good. That's good.
which is a phenomenal mindset.
Yeah.
You can't go in with your chest pumped out going, hey, we're the defending champs. Well, you know what? That's old news.
Yeah.
So I like that Sirianni has done that with this team, and they're going to go out there. The banner will already be up, and they're just going to go out and play the game.
Well, that's good. I like that mindset.
Yeah, yeah. And so it's going to be interesting. Aaron Rodgers playing against the Jets this weekend, right?
Yeah, I like Pittsburgh in that one.
Oh, yeah. I think so for sure.
Mm.
So yeah, and this is I like the way they do. I mean, it's fun. You're slowly you're going Thursday and Friday and going to the regular season on Sunday, which is fun.
I don't know if you heard this. I was telling my wife this last night. There's a law, and this is the last year they can do this, that this will be the last Friday game the NFL can do because there is a 1961 American broadcasting law that states that you cannot broadcast a professional football game within 75 miles of a high school game or college game from the second Friday in September until the second Friday in December. So this being the first Friday tomorrow or this Friday, they can do it. But after this year, they can't. There will be no more Friday games.
Oh my, that is a hell of a trivia fact.
I saw that yesterday, and it made sense. And it's like my wife and I were saying they should do that with college football on Friday nights because Friday nights are meant for high school.
Mhm.
Last weekend is an anomaly because it's Labor Day weekend, and Michigan, they don't play football on Fridays very often because of Labor Day. It's the last, hurrah. But I don't think college games should be on Friday nights either. But
No, I mean,
that's just me. Old
let it
school.
go. Before we get into my baseball stuff, those of you who are watching and listening, Lou is on his last day tomorrow
Yes,
of
sir.
his 60. You know why? Because it's Lou's birthday on Friday.
Yes, sir.
Woo!
Yep. Day 59 is with my 60-60-60 challenge. And I've got it pretty much to 65 push-ups every day. I do 40 and then 25. My goal is Friday on my birthday. I'm going to knock out 100. So
Okay,
that's the ultimate goal.
that's the
I'll
goal.
still do the push-ups, but it's been great for accountability doing them on Facebook. So, you know what? It's been fun. I do feel better with it, and I'm glad I was able to do it. So one more day tomorrow after work, I'll pump out the 60 or 65 or whatever.
And
Hey,
hopefully
Mitch.
the dog is with you.
Oh, she'll be there. Someone wants to tell you you're looking good. So how's that?
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's not my birthday, but thank you, Catherine. I appreciate that. Lou looks good too. I mean, he's going to be 60. Yes, I'm going to be 70, but that's okay. That's in December. We'll wait
Yeah,
for that.
it's only a
Lou, I
number.
decided. So you were doing your 30s and 30s at one point, right? I did some push-ups yesterday, and maybe it's because I did them 2 days in a row, and I'm thinking I was going to do the same thing as you, but end up I may end up going to 35 because I
Hey,
woke up this morning going, oh geez. But I'll try. I'll see what I can do.
well, there you
Um,
go. That's all you can ask. You know
hit the
what?
head.
It's definitely been fun, and people been coming up to me saying, keep it up, keep it up. So it's worth it. So why not?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Before we get Jim on, let's talk about our fun baseball stuff. The big news the other day or yesterday, besides Soto throwing his bat up in the air at the end of the game, Framber Valdez throwing a pitch that took his catcher off guard. Supposedly, his agent said, I read today, that, oh, there's no way, this is the guy that wouldn't do that kind of stuff. And supposedly they talked the catcher and the pitcher, Valdez and what's his last name? I forgot. They talked.
Yeah.
And they supposedly ironed things out. We talked before we came on. And there also, I forgot to tell you, I read that there's a little heated discussion in the clubhouse after the game. So I don't know if it's all goody two shoes right now with them.
No, hope not for Detroit's sake, but
Yeah, really.
it's like we talked, and
Yeah.
they're trying to say it was an accident, it was not a miscommunication. I mean, the catcher was trying to get him to stop pitching, and he gave up the grand slam.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did that he did it on purpose. There's no doubt in my mind, 100%. And you know what? It's like we said, when you got guys like Michael Wilbon condoning it, saying it wasn't his fault, I don't buy that for a minute. So
Yeah.
whatever. But
all right. Last thing before we bring on Jim. With 25 games left, if the Phillies went 14-11, okay, the Mets would have to go 20-5 to tie them.
No way.
Yeah. So right now, the Tigers are 11-8. I'm sorry, the Mets are 12-9. The Phillies are 11-8. So yeah, I don't I don't want to think about 64 because I was alive then and I watched them.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that's going to happen. Even though my bold prediction last week was if they lost, they got swept, they were going to lose a division. I just hope that doesn't happen. They don't fail.
I just don't see it. You guys got too many weapons.
I think that's true, and I think that
Yeah.
they'll come up big. And Bader has come up huge, and in center field. Why he's playing? You talk about your manager off the top of his head. He overthinks it. Thompson doesn't think. Why he's putting in a guy in left field who's a career minor leaguer who's up playing. These are important games. They need to win this series.
Right.
We'll see what happens. All right. And by the way, how many umpires calls have you seen in that box that have been really terrible this year?
Boy, I don't know. We're going to bring Jim in as we talk about that real quick. There was a couple today that were mind-boggling.
Oh, my gosh.
Hi, Jim. I don't know.
Hello there. How are you?
Thanks for coming on. Thanks for taking the time.
Oh, thanks for the invitation.
You're welcome, and we really appreciate it. When I saw that you wrote a book about Ron Luciano, I was like, oh, my gosh, what a blast from the past.
Yeah.
I will speak for myself. And, again, reading the comments about the book and watching a video, we loved him. He was a character. And we all know that, Major League Baseball for years has not wanted their umpires to show any character. But I saw some videos of him and calling the guys out and pointing the gun and doing the demonstrative saves or outs. And it was just, it doesn't happen. He made it fun. He just was so involved with the fans. I actually saw him. I won't say I was shy, but I probably was, even in my early 20s, up at County Stadium. I lived up in Northern Illinois. I went to a game in Milwaukee, and he was as gregarious as could be before the game, talking to some fans on the third baseline. He was such a fun guy. So before I go into that, before we go into him himself, I want to know from you, because you've written a lot of historical nonfiction baseball books. Tell me what motivated you. Why did you want to write a book about Ron Luciano?
Well, years ago when I was a young print reporter in the Bay Area, I interviewed Ron on his first book tour up in San Francisco at the St. Francis Hotel. And I don't even know where I fell on his list that day, whether I was first, fifth, seventh, 12th, I don't know. But I'm sure he gave me the same enthusiasm and the same answers and the same stories probably as he gave everyone else. It was a tremendous interview, and I really enjoyed it. And then years later, when he died by his own hand, I thought, gee, I really didn't do a very good job. Most of my colleagues and compatriots didn't do a very good job in getting behind the persona that Ron Luciano presented. And at the time, I made some notes and put it aside for years. And then it just seemed time. I wanted to understand who he really was, not just the figure he presented.
And so tell me, I'm reading the descriptions and, again, finding out that, it was a little bit different on the field than off the field. Is that correct?
He was very demonstrative on the field and often off the field as well. But he was a very private person who hid behind that persona, I think. It was a dual personality, really. He really was who he appeared to be, and he wasn't at all. When he died, people close to him and his family, and just about everybody, they were shocked that he had taken his own life. People who were close to them. I mean, some of them knew he was troubled and was struggling, but his death really took almost everybody by surprise.
Yeah, I again, and looking at some of the details and reading a little bit of an excerpt on the book, he did get married at one point. He had his own needs to be, again, out of the public eye. She wanted to be in the city. They went their separate ways. And so he didn't let people know really how he was dealing with this. Tell any friends? Again, did anybody you interviewed for the book? Tell me about your interviews for the book, and nobody was able to tell you that they knew about his issues with this depression.
No, I wanted to speak with his family, and they very politely and firmly declined to participate, which is fine. I completely understand that. But they might know more about the reasons behind his death. He did leave them a note, and all they told the public was he wanted people to know that his death had nothing to do with alcoholism or drugs or anything like that. I spoke with the young friend who found his body. I spoke with his co-author, and the friend was shocked and had a hard time dealing with Ronnie's death. His co-author David Fisher knew he was troubled. It tried to get him out of Binghamton or Endicott to LA or New York or someplace more lively, and Ronnie just wasn't having it. He wanted to stay home. There was an article at the time quoting an unnamed friend who Ronnie had told that he had committed himself to a hospital for depression some months before he died. I don't know who that person was. I would have loved to speak with him or her. But that's the only indication I have of him telling anybody how bad things really were. So he had that persona, and he lived behind it, and he died behind it.
Yeah. So he had an interesting upbringing. I know that he, again, reading the excerpts in Endicott, New York, it was a place where a lot of Italian immigrants came to live. And you want to give a little background on what that was like up there?
His father came from Italy. He lived in Endicott in the Triple Cities area, where there was a tremendous shoe industry at the time. Most of the jobs, tens of thousands of jobs, were making shoes, and the city at that time was fairly prosperous and bustling. And Ronnie's father had a restaurant that was very popular. But then his father died when Ronnie was 11 or 12. And curiously enough, he almost never spoke about him later. I don't really have an answer for why that was. He was very close to his mother. He grew up in Endicott, played football for the local high school, and then he went to Syracuse as a football player, where he was an All-American. He was a tremendous football player, and for one season, they even played with Jim Brown.
Yeah, I saw it. I read that. Yeah.
He claimed that he called Jim Brown Mr. Brown, and Jim called him "Hey you."
Not "Hey Lou," not Loosh, but "Hey you." Yeah. Yeah. So I read that he was a great football player, but give us a little bit of information about how he became interested in umpiring, because from what I read, he didn't like baseball.
He didn't really play baseball as a kid. He didn't play it in high school. He wanted more than anything to be an NFL player. He was drafted by the Lions, but he was hurt before he ever got a chance to play. And he was hurt again the second season. He never played in a regular season game. He signed with the Bills, the new Bills at that time. Never played for them. He played minor league football. He played semi-pro football. He played any kind of football he could find. But he knew some umpires who encouraged him to consider that as a career. And I think he really wanted to get back on the field, any field. And he thought that was the most likely way to do it. And he was completely right. He had a talent for it, even though it's not something he had chosen originally. And he went up through the major leagues very quickly and came into the American League in 1969.
Did he show his personality from the beginning as an umpire when he became an umpire in minor leagues and stuff?
No, he didn't, and he said as much. I mean, he was always something of a character, but he wasn't Ron Luciano that we know. He didn't begin that until he was in the majors, and he began to realize he wasn't having much fun. So somebody advised him, hey, you can't live like this. If you're going out there, have some fun with it. So more and more he did until he became, this character that everybody knew.
And tell us a little bit about his some of it. I know there were some stories in there about what he would talk to players, and he would at one point he came in umpiring and he was hung over and he had some catchers make some calls for him.
Well, that's what he said. I've never been able to confirm or refute that. There's an awful lot that he wrote that wasn't strictly accurate, let's say. Ronnie was one of life's great storytellers, and I don't consider him a liar or a con man by any stretch of the imagination, but I consider him one of the best storytellers I ever came across. And he didn't let facts get in the way of a good story.
Because his personality was to entertain, correct?
Right. Well, I mean, first his duty was to umpire, and he did, but he thought it was also part of his duties to entertain the fans, to keep them engaged, and he certainly did. And there are a lot of stories. Some of them are even true. It was fun going through to try to discover what was factual and what wasn't. Mm-hmm. And some of the things you hoped were true turned out to be true, and some didn't.
Some didn't. Can you give us a couple of those? Did you talk to ball players? I mean, I know there's ball players that are still around when he was umping.
Secondhand, I talked to some ball players, and I talked to one of his fellow umpires and that type of thing. One of the stories I actually doubted was that he had been drinking a Coke on the field while he was umpiring. I thought that can't possibly be true, and it turned out it was true. And then there was another story I thought was maybe true, where he had played third base at his spring training game. He swapped gloves and equipment with third baseman, and that turned out not to be true.
Oh, it wasn't true. Okay, because I did read that today. I'm thinking, okay, spring training, that couldn't hurt. That could have been fun.
Yeah, that's totally plausible. But at some point, I don't know, he was telling a story to someone, and it got away from him.
Did you think about when you were writing the book that did it bother him that he was getting reprimanded when he needed to by Major League Baseball for what he was doing on the field?
He certainly didn't like being reprimanded. By his count, there was some huge number of reprimands, and it turns out there was a far lesser number. I never did pin it down, but it wasn't nearly as many times as he claimed it was. But he was reprimanded, and the league didn't like it. Most of his fellow umpires disagreed with it. Even some people on his own crew disagreed with the way he conducted himself. Though that didn't mean they didn't like him. They loved the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were distinct differences. And Ronnie was just Ronnie and became more Ronnie as he went along. Though maybe paradoxically, I think towards the end he was less and less happy as he got more and more demonstrative.
That's interesting. Can we delve into that a little bit? What's the reasoning behind that, do you think?
Well, it's an awfully hard life being an umpire for him and for everybody else. I mean, there was a lot of alcoholism. There's a lot of divorce. He was divorced. He had trouble with Drake for a while until he cut it back. He was under a lot of pressure, and in his last season, 1979, he was president of the Umpires Association, and he led the strike.
Yeah,
and that strike. That strike was awful for everybody. It was awful for the umpires, awful for the players, awful for the game, awful for the fans. And when it was over, there were just more problems. With the temporary umpires they brought up to replace the striking umpires. Some of them were hired, and that caused problems because the regulars considered them scabs.
Right.
So that, that was a bad situation too. And Ronnie, I call him Ronnie because I just lived with him so long now. That's the way.
Gotcha.
Ronnie fully intended to umpire again in the 1980 season, but NBC came to him and said, "We'd like you to be a color analyst." And he auditioned, and just days before the opening day, he resigned and went with NBC, and he was with them for 2 seasons.
Yeah, I do remember when I saw the clips of him. I said, "Oh yeah, there." I do remember watching him a little bit with on the game of the week, right? Regular
Yeah, he
NBC
was
game
on
of the
the
week.
alternate game of the week with Merle Harmon.
Yeah, it's funny. When I saw Merrill Harmon, I was like, I don't remember Merrill Harmon at all. I mean, for me, it was Kurt Gowdy, right?
Right.
And that was a little bit later, I guess. Did you hear? Were you able to talk to anybody from NBC or any of his colleagues there during the book?
I didn't talk with anyone directly from NBC, but there were a number of good accounts of his time there, and the best implies or says outright that he simply didn't do his homework, and he got players' names wrong and things like that, which was probably forgivable, but they had other people coming up behind him, and they liked them better, and it was honestly a fluke that he was hired in the first place because NBC was staffing up for the 1980 Olympics. And so a lot of their first line people were going to be supposedly in Moscow. So they needed somebody like Ronnie to fill in. And then, of course, we didn't go. America didn't go to the Moscow Olympics.
Right.
So I don't know. Maybe he was under a time limit from the get-go. I don't know.
Could have been, right? We got this guy for so many years. We know it. We're not going to tell him. And then he did. He became a personality off the field, right? Saturday Night Live. He auditioned for Cheers. So people loved so many people loved him as who he was, as Ron Luciano, not the umpire, but the person, and because of what he brought.
Right. Fans really, really loved him. I can't tell you how many people remembered him as I was working on this book. I would mention it and they'd go, "Oh yeah, Ron Luciano, he was great. I really enjoyed that." And, they did. Although umpires, not so much. The ball players sort of split.
Yeah, the ball players. So yes. Did you delve into that in the book about the ball players who he worked with, which was a ton of them, and who anybody stand out that actually really didn't like him, or those who really did like him?
Yeah, it was interesting. When he first came up, the first couple seasons, he was very highly regarded. He was one of 2 umps given an excellent rating by the players themselves. But by the time he got out of the game, his skills had, I don't know that his skills had deteriorated, but maybe his interest had. And he wasn't considered nearly as highly towards the end. Some players loved him, like Amos Otis. He was the first one he shot out at first base, out. There were a few ball players who were hard to get along with anyway that didn't like him. There were some players like Yaz who just said, "Ronnie, let me bat. My family's fine. I'm fine. I don't have any place to recommend you eat. Just let me bat."
He just yapping, right? He just talked to players.
Yeah, some players liked to yap, and some players just wanted him to shut up.
Yeah, there's a great story again in that clip, and I'll let people go find the clip themselves of the time Yaz came to bat, and he told him he was in a slump and he didn't want to talk, and then boom, something happened, and then Yaz came to the plate, and he says, "Okay, we can talk now."
Right.
It was just a character. What do you think he would say about today's umpires, not the umpires, the box, the strike zone box on TV?
I don't think he would like it very much. I don't think he liked the automatic balls and strikes system at all, because he knew baseball is a game about failure and that umpires and everybody else are fallible. And besides that, he was a union leader.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have any part of it.
That's right. Yeah, you're right. I mean, and listen, I got to think, and tell me if I'm wrong, because he was that union leader, he was so much more, he gained some respect for what he did in that position.
He gained the respect as a union leader from umpires who didn't like him as an umpire. I mean, that's why they chose him, because he was Ron Luciano. He could communicate with anybody, and the press loved him. So that was, that almost against their better instincts, they voted for him, and they were glad they did.
Yeah, almost like a gimmicky. Sure, let's nominate you. You want? We think you can talk, so that might help us. And
right.
He did. He actually did what he needed to do.
Yeah, there was a long and hard strike, and I think it took a lot out of him, but he held in there.
Yeah, I would think it would have. I mean, that's a lot of pressure. You're representing people. He knew people who didn't like him. I mean, he knew who he was. It sounds like, right? And that he had a job to do, and it was a huge job to be this union rep. So, good for him that he was able to do that. So that was one of his finer points. In addition to, again, as fans, we loved watching him. I mean, you would get the shots of him at first base or behind the plate making these calls, these demonstrative, funny, unique hand gestures, and it was fun. You won't see, Jim, we don't see that today. Not at all.
No, we don't. One of his colleagues, Dave Phillips, fellow umpire, told me this great story that they were in Cleveland, the old municipal stadium, and Ronnie wasn't feeling very well. He was swigging antacids because he had a bad stomach. And he sort of trudged up the steps towards the field, and he got up to the top of the steps where the fans were, and he turned around and sort of spread his arms as if, here I am. And Dave said, that was pure Ronnie. He lived for being in front of the fans.
Yeah. I mean, so he again, he was allowed to do that. He got reprimanded, didn't like it, but it was still okay because he was still garnering support from the fan bases wherever he went.
Right.
And people love that. I was talking to, I watched a podcast today with Jane Levy and Rob Bradford about her new book, Make Me Commissioner. And to make the game better, she didn't mention this, but I was thinking about this. Can we hire some umpires who maybe have a sense of humor? I mean, it's such a conservative group. Yeah, they have a job to do. We all get that, but we are all human. And part of being human is allowing people to be themselves and not be so stoic and take things so seriously.
Right.
Throwing guys out when they walk out of the dugout. We stop with the power trip, that kind of thing. So
right.
it's
today the only umpires you can name are the bad umpires.
Well, that's it. Exactly. Well, that's exactly right.
You couldn't name a good umpire after Country Joe West retired.
Exactly. Yeah. And I look at Ron and I see also in the same realm Eric Gregg, right? Eric Gregg was he just wanted to have fun. He loved it. He loved being there. He loved Philadelphia. He loved being with the ball players. So it's similar thing. I read the book about him. I think his son wrote the book. Just a fun character. Again, one of the guys that was left too soon.
Right, but baseball didn't want that then, and they certainly don't want it now.
No, not now. It's too bad. But it is what it is. It's not going to probably change at all. But again, in Jane's book, I don't know. I haven't gotten the book. It hasn't come out yet officially. But I wonder if she mentioned anything about umpires. I'm going to have to message her and ask her that. And Jim, listen, intriguing titles of your other books. I may have to delve into these because it's very unique, different. I just read the titles and I said, wow, this could be interesting historical information. So, as I do with all baseball book authors, I thank you for putting together this book and even the others because I like, at my old age, continue to learn, and especially about the sport I love, which is baseball. And whether it's a person like Ron Luciano or situational stuff, your historical baseball, nonfiction, true stuff, I'm going to look into that. So thank you for doing that, putting these words on paper.
Oh, well, thank you. I mean, I do it for the same reason, to learn about something that no one has written about before. So,
Yeah, it's great. It's great. I can't wait to get the book. Looking forward to it. And listen, I appreciate you coming on, and you can get this book anywhere books are sold, correct?
I hope so. As far as I know.
Yeah, everywhere books are sold. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, anywhere. Look it up. You'll get the book. It's accessible everywhere. Jim, thank you very much for taking the time. We really appreciate it. Love talking about baseball and personalities, and especially unique ones like Ron.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I love talking about running.
Thanks. Take care, Jim. Appreciate you.
Yep.
Take care. All right, that was fun talk.
Yes.
Another sports author. Do we have any football players on the sideline?
They're already they're on the sideline. They're ready to come in.
They're ready to come in. They're getting the call from the coach. All right, we got a quarterback. We got a slot and DB and a tight end and a linebacker. There's Mr. Michael Costa, Clayton. And Clayton, where's your brother? Oh, there he is. Colton, how you doing, fellas?
How are you?
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. Colton, the quarterback, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Feeling all right?
Yeah, I'm feeling good.
Take any big hits? I didn't know if I saw any big hits on Friday.
No, not too many big hits.
Okay.
It was good.
Okay, so you're feeling good. Clayton.
Yep.
Are you guys different ages? Are you twins? Or are you?
Yeah, I'm a year older. I'm 17 months older than him.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I wasn't sure. I didn't. I had to ask. And Michael, you're not related to them, obviously. No. Look, you did that like you didn't want to be, guys. Sorry. He just oh no. So Michael, you are the tight end linebacker,
Yep.
and Clayton slot receiver and defensive back. All right, fellas. Watch most of the game on Friday. Colton, give me your thoughts as the quarterback. Like I asked the guys last week, the captains last week, were there anything that stood out to you that surprised you a little bit about Haverford? I know 23 was the big runner, right? And you tried to contain him as best you could, but on the offensive side as the quarterback, what did you attempt to do? What didn't work? And were you able to? What was the talk in the halftime about it?
Yeah, so I mean, they were really physical as we expected. That's kind of what their offense runs on, and they had 10 guys who were playing both ways. So we really expected them at halftime. Like there was no doubt at halftime. We were down 22-7. We are on our heads. They're like they're going to get tired. They have 10 guys going both ways. So we had our whole talk was having to come out and score on the first drive. And we didn't do that. So that kind of put us in a hole to start the second half. But, yeah, we just expect them to get tired. And, yeah.
And I asked the guys last week, they were a little bit surprised about Coatesville's speed because you can't practice against speed if you don't have it on the other side, right? On your own practice field. So they were a little surprised about that. And I mentioned to them, I said, listen, you got to play your own game. And they said that. And you guys all know that. You've been in this system. You know you're playing your own game. You can't worry about the other team. So I'm wondering, did that have an effect, Michael or Clayton, on how you approach that after when the second half started, that you really wanted to get it to them and it didn't happen?
Mike, do you want to go?
Speed wise, yeah. I mean, I thought Coatesville was definitely a little quicker because it was the first game of the year. You're not really you haven't seen it, but Haverford they were good. They were quick. But coming out of the half, we really wanted to try and hit the quarterback, make him pitch it, and get the ball out quick. And hopefully they made a mistake, which they did with fumbling to start the half. So we tried that.
Yeah, our big thing was just try to get them off schedule. They're not really a big play hunting team. They're content with getting 3 yards of play. And in the first half, we didn't capitalize with that at all. They scored both their touchdowns, or 3 of their touchdowns, on 4th and goal from the 1 yard line. So, we sucks that we can't get those back. But I thought in the second half we did a lot better job, and we held them scoreless. Even when they had, I think, 2 or 3 possessions that started in our territory. So that was the big difference. And if we could have just gotten one of those to go in the first half, it's a totally different game. But
yeah, I was impressed, guys, with the defense. You played really well. And I was hoping again to hold. Now it's hard with this number 23, right? He's in that there's a line that a yard isn't that hard to get when you've got, when you're down there, right? With this running back. But I was impressed at the way you did play inside your red zone. And unfortunately, they were able to score. So was that so what did you take positive? What positivity came out of the game against last week against Haverford?
We loved the coaches and all the players. We loved our physicality in the red zone and throughout the entire game. We thought, we were up there physicality with them, maybe a little more physical than them. We really take pride in that. We want to be a physical team, and especially in the red zone. Getting a fourth and goal stop late in the game is really huge. And, especially a yard, number 23 for Haverford's a really good back. And for us to stuff them on the 4th and goal is definitely huge.
Yeah.
Basically, sorry.
Yeah, no. It was just we were really happy with how we responded and how, even though the game didn't go as we planned, we never really backed down or kind of folded. And that was something that we're happy about and we're trying to bring into the next couple of weeks.
Colton, in terms of your quarterback play and the offense, did you feel confident in the way the offense was running in the first half?
Yeah, the first half, our first drive, I thought was good. I thought, we went down the field. I think we tired them definitely for the first drive. Then the second drive, we came out, ran our base stuff, and then we tried to take a shot. And, there was just a mistake there, and I fumbled. So that really just got us off schedule. I really do think that play doesn't happen. It's a very, very different game.
Right.
So, it's just in our offense, it's little things like that can, can get us off schedule, and it can make it a lot harder, for us to come back.
So you're mostly a running team. I know that for years, obviously. Last year was a bit of an anomaly, a lot more passing, which is pretty fun to see. Depending upon the other team's defense, is it possible that you have the ability to move into some more of a passing game? It looks like you're running 80, maybe 80-20, maybe even 85-15.
Yeah.
Are there any thoughts as you go forward to and making it more like a 70-30, or is that going to depend upon, is that a game-by-game decision?
Yeah, it depends who we're playing, really. Some teams will just come out and they'll just sit guys back there so we can't hit our deep shots. So sometimes we'll take the underneath stuff. But, yeah, it really depends. Our whole, what the coaches wanted this year is for us to get back to a more a run-heavy team.
Okay.
And so that's definitely what we're going to try to do first. But if there's a week we can, we feel like we're confident throwing the ball, like you say, maybe 70-30, we'll do that, yeah.
Yeah, it's because, historically, running offense. I've been watching Garnet Valley since my kids were there. Twin daughters who are now 33, graduated in 2010. And those teams were, mostly run, but when there was a time for a pass, it was amazingly successful. And then coming up to again last year, there's a good mix of passing. So it was a very interesting offense, different offense than we were seeing, and it became pretty successful. But I know the coaches have to go with your strengths, right? What are you going to do best? Michael, what are your strengths? What do you come with to this team?
I definitely think I bring more of a physicality and a strength to the team. I'm willing to work, whatever, however, anything to help the team. And I feel like it's not really just for me. I feel like the whole team brings that same attitude that we're willing to work and willing to do whatever it takes to, get better and make a long run.
Clayton, how about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, some of what Mike said, just trying to bring a level of physicality that most teams haven't seen, especially from being a safety, and just making sure that as DBs, we're locking down whatever we're doing, whether it's cover 2, cover 4, man. And I mean, we've been exploited some this year, definitely, especially in Coatesville, and we all have things we have to work on. But for me in particular, I know it's just working more and more every day on just tackling and making plays in open field. Because I mean, at the end of the day, those are the plays that will win you games. Is when they have a chance to break one, and one of us, whether it's a corner or safety or even an outside linebacker like Mike, comes up and makes a play.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. I mean, if you can read that offense and really put a good hit on them and stop them, that to me, I think it makes a statement for you guys and on their part, that kind of thing. So it's really key to try and, like you said, lock that stuff down, especially in the open field, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to be able to make those tackles so they don't go any further. Colton, how about you?
Strengths, right? So,
yeah.
I think my strengths are definitely, I think I'm a better passer. But playing in an offense like this, it's been good for me because it's turned me into my freshman year. I couldn't run the ball at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized, I'm going to have to run the ball if I want to play here and be good. So I really focused on that. And I feel like I've become a better runner, but I can still be a better, runner. But since my freshman year, I've definitely improved on that. But my strength is probably passing the ball.
Gotcha. So with that, you all, I'm guessing again, you guys have been in Garnet Valley for the whole high school career so far, and you all did BYC?
Yep.
It's amazing. It's just what they have built since I was there with my girls. I mean, it wasn't that big, and I don't know how it all happened, but it morphed into this. Yeah, this is the feeder program. This is going to be, and maybe it was always before I got there. My kids got to the high school, but it's amazing how it's built up. And you want to play high school football, you're going through BYC, and you're learning the system. So Colton, what in terms of you like the pass, but it's a running system. So what do you need to work on to listen? I couldn't be a quarterback. I mean, you guys watch any of the Hard Knock stuff?
Yeah.
You watch them in the quarterback room, the decisions they have to. I'm like, how do you do this? Let me be a wide receiver. I'll run my passwords. I'll be fine. No quarterbacking for me. So it's not an easy position, right? Have you played quarterback the entire time you're in BYC?
Yeah, I played when I was really young. I played BYC flag football for a while.
Okay.
And then I played St. Thomas football in 8th grade. And I played for the middle school too. But yeah, I played quarterback the entire time.
Okay, so you're used to all this. You know what it is. You're having fun, you guys. Yeah, and you're having fun, guys. You're having fun.
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's the most important thing, right? Yeah. And I say this all the time to folks. You want to win. I mean, we're all competitive in nature, especially for football, high school football. A little harder you got 11 guys who each have a role. You look at baseball, okay? It's pitch. My baseball is my first love. Don't get me wrong, but you're batting, it's pitcher against hitter, and then you're in the field and you're working on your fundamentals. And in the outfield, I played outfield for my senior league team for years. I was pretty good, but really all I had to do was catch the ball and throw the ball, right? Football is a whole different ball of wax. You got to work as one unit, and take what the coaches give you. And I know for a fact they're supporting you 1,000% when there's a mistake made or when there's a great play or where maybe somebody misses a block. They're not yelling at you, from what I understand, from what I see. They're helping you, okay, get to the next level of player. So you've got a great support system. And it's one step at a time, right? What are you looking for? So next step, you're practicing this week for Harriton. Harriton typically, I shouldn't say this because I don't want you to get cocky. They lost 35-0 last week. They've never been really good. Don't let that in your head. So take that out of your head right now. It's a football team. It's a game. You're playing 11-on-11 on Friday. What are you looking forward to? What are you looking at that Harriton's going to bring?
You know, we after watching their film, they definitely run spread sets. It's a lot of 5 wide. So it's a completely different game from last week. Last week was football in a phone booth, as we say, just smashing. And then this week it looks like they're trying to spread us all out and then air the ball out.
So
definitely totally different from last week. I mean, last week at the second half, we were playing pretty much only 1 safety sets. And this week, I mean, we could roll out as many as, 4 or 5 DBs, so even like more. And yeah, I mean, we're excited especially as a defense to get back at a spread system where, I mean, they throw a lot of screens, a lot of verts. They're just trying to spread you out and get the ball to their playmakers in space. So we're excited to see that as a challenge from 2 weeks ago where we didn't really do what we wanted to do and try to get back on the right foot, especially.
Those screen. I don't know that I've hardly ever seen a high school football team throw a screen pass, but that'll be interesting and fun to watch. I know that for sure, right?
Yeah.
And they'll have blockers out in front, and you got to just figure out a way to get through those guys. Hey, Colton, on the offense, what are you looking at on their defense?
Yes, they do a lot of cover 2 and cover 4.
Okay,
which is we saw cover 3 week 1, week 2, but it's not really that much of a difference for us. We really want to get back to running the ball a lot this week, which is what, I talked with our offensive coordinator about. But, I mean, we just really want to run our base stuff that we haven't been running as well as we should be. We feel like it's a good game for us to, work on some things. But obviously, I mean, they can beat us, just like we can beat them. At the end of the day, it's just, regular football game. We're not looking past them or anything.
Right. Focus on what you got to do. Who are you going to? I mean, I know you have options when you get the ball from center, right? You got some pitch plays in there. I love when you got somebody out there who runs wide, who's running wide, and you got blockers in front. I'm hoping to see some of that this week on Friday too. So looking forward to that. What else are you guys looking forward to? It's an away game in Harriton, right? So it's not home. Hey, how was the crowd? I don't remember. I watched the game, but I was on my phone. What was the crowd like on Friday? Home crowd.
I thought the environment was really good.
Good.
There was a lot of people there. It was good.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome to be back. Definitely a lot of good show out.
Good. It was always fun going. I mean, I not a parent of a football player, but we would sit basically on the 40-yard line and watch and enjoy the parents play, cheering on everybody. And we would my wife and I would go to a lot of away games. I mean, it was just fun to support the team whenever we were there. So you've got a supporter in me. Continue to support. Love watching you guys play. It's a sport that I never got to play because I was too short. I got cut from my ninth grade football team because I was like 4'8" and 120 pounds, and the coach didn't want to get me killed. So I thank him for that. I'm still alive, which is great. But before we go, one last question for you. All right. Amongst the three of you, how many are Phillies fans?
I think all of us.
I think all of us.
All right, awesome. Love that. Dare I ask, Eagles?
All of us, right?
No, me and Costa are, but not Colton.
Not me.
I have to turn your mic off. How can you do it, Colton? Who's your team, Colton?
The Patriots.
Because of Tom Brady?
Well, it's because I have family who lives in Rhode Island, so they got me.
Okay, I won't make fun of. I mean, I can't make fun of that. But if you said Tom Brady, I was really going to turn you off. Jeez. All right, first game tomorrow night. What are you thinking? Eagles and Cowboys.
Eagles 35, Cowboys 10.
All right.
Jeez.
Yeah, I mean, I like to be a little bit more realistic. I mean, I think the Eagles will win, but I mean, Dallas is good offense, so I'm excited to see the matchups, especially between our corners. But I mean, yeah, Birds by a lot.
Colton, do you care?
Yeah, I mean, I'll definitely watch it.
Say it again.
I'll definitely watch it. I think the Eagles probably put up 35.
Okay.
Like 35-21. I think it'll be a really big offensive game.
Okay. Lou, my co-host here, he's a better. So Lou, tell him what you're thinking.
I'm thinking 31-17, but I'm doing a teaser bet. I think I'm going to go with them winning. You know, I'm picking them 1.5, but I think Philly's going to win. But the best game is Sunday at 4:25.
Are you a Lions fan?
All day.
Oh, man.
Michael.
All day.
Who's in Michigan? Lou is a Detroit fan. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, listen. So here's what we're thinking. You know, could it be Tigers and Phillies in the World Series?
That's my prediction.
Could be, right?
Hope so.
Right now, Aaron Nola's pitching. He's got men off first and second. Brewers have men off first and second, nobody out. Let's hope he can get that without any runs. And then, Super Bowl. What are you thinking, Lou?
Lions and Bills.
Lions and Bills? Did you hear what he said, fellas?
Yeah.
He said Lions and Bills.
Birds, Ravens.
Yeah, I think that's a good possibility. 0-2 count. This is what burns me. 0-2 count. He gives up a single. Bases loaded, nobody out.
Oh.
Yeah, it's brutal.
It's annoying.
Better
Fellas.
than giving up an 0-2 pitch to Juan Soto for a grand slam like we did yesterday.
So I was bugging him with his damn Tigers, letting the Mets win 2. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing?
No.
It's going to roll.
Annoying. All right, Colton, and Clayton and Michael, best of luck this weekend. Go get them. Play smart. Play hard. Do your thing. Be physical. I would love to see Clayton, Michael. I'd like to see you on the way out to tackle the guy. Give him a punch. Punch that ball out, okay?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Week.
Go Jags, baby. All right, fellas. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Best of luck.
Thank you.
I'll be watching.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Yeah,
You're
thank you.
welcome.
Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.
Take care, guys. Thanks.
All right.
All righty. So he's got a 1-2 count now on Sal Frelick. 1-2. Ball 2. We'll go through this at bat and we'll sign off.
Okay.
No, so you got a game and you got a show next week. We will not be on next week.
Right.
I will be at trivia next Wednesday.
Oh, very good.
And that's where my wife is now. Following week we have, let me go to my guest next week. I think you're going to like this. We're going to have Garnet Valley on again. Well, Rob Maraska on. He's a I don't know if he's a reporter or he's a, have to look at specifics, but he's a Mets guy. Very nice guy. And Alan Creda, who wrote a book about Ken Morrow. called The Miracle on Ice. So
Sounds good.
yeah, so we're going to have him on the 17th also, and we'll get the Garnet Valley kids on too. So that'll be that's it. Let me go back to the at bat. Hold on, I know we got to go. You
Oh,
got to
you're
get
all
to
right.
sleep. Got to warm up. You got to get ready for your push-ups tomorrow. Did he give up a run? Oh, it's 2-2 still. Foul ball on the inside. He's got to throw a knuckle curve up and away. I'd love to see a double play. Get 2 outs, let him score a run. See what happens. Let's see, Lou. So the Mets play tomorrow. Oh my God. A single. Scored on the what? Oh, there was an error. Are you kidding me?
That's almost worse.
Scored on a throwing error by center fielder Bader, and Turang scored. Okay, I'm done with him. But the Mets play. They're off tomorrow, and the Phillies play the Brewers. Then the weekend, the Mets at Cincinnati. Cincinnati's hanging on. You know, they're either 4.5 or 5 out.
They're trying.
So if they can sweep the Mets, that would be a nice wild card.
Well, yeah.
Possibility for them.
Yeah, Detroit's got 3 with Chicago, then they go to the Bronx next week.
Yeah.
That's I'm a little worried about that. Scooble's pitching Saturday, I think, or Sunday.
So he's not going to pitch.
So he's not going to pitch against the Yankees. So I'm a little
And-
bummed about that, but
Yeah.
it's the way it goes. You know, the way I look at it, if Detroit can take 2 out of 3 or all 3 against Chicago, that just,
Well, that
makes it
helps.
that much easier. You know, the sooner they can clinch, the better.
Yeah. And the thing with the Mets, so next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the Mets go to Philly.
Oh boy,
If Philly I just want to split. That reduces the magic number by 4.
Right.
And if it's if it's at 14 by then,
That's
it's down to 10.
yeah,
So it's not a big issue.
exactly.
So just split. That's all we ask for is a split.
And I see Boston put 7 up on Cleveland, or I'm sorry, the other way around. Cleveland put 7 up on Boston in the first 2 innings. So
Oh, guess what Nola just gave up?
a home run.
Collins homer to right.
Oh, it's time to start thinking the Eagles now, Mitch.
Jeez. All right.
So what do you think of, before we go, what do you think of this Parsons mess? I love it.
He's got a back issue. He had an epidural, right?
How in the world? I mean, I know they're a different breed, and I know they play through pain, but epidurals. All I can think of is women when they're about to have a baby, getting an epidural, and it's Jerry Jones might have pulled the old wool over everybody's eyes with this trade.
Oh yeah, he sure did.
And I hope. I'm not a Packers fan by any stretch. I think they got bamboozled.
Was there any? I mean, they have to go through a physical, right, to get into the.
Well, that's just it. Yeah, I mean, who did their homework? If this is actually what's going to happen, they signed him to that $185 million extension.
Yeah,
and back stuff doesn't go away. It's not like a broken finger or a broken toe or a broken ankle.
No.
Chronic back issues, they don't go away. Just ask Matt Stafford or anybody that's had back issues.
Exactly. I'm telling you, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes on, how this goes through the weekend and through the next couple of weeks.
I think he'll try to make a go of it, but I'm not worried about Green Bay. They can't stop the run. And he's not going to help that. They'll put some points up. It's at Lambeau. That's the only reason I give them a chance. If this one was in Detroit, I'd say Detroit all day long.
Mm-hmm.
But Detroit's won the last 3 in Lambeau, and I'm a little worried about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we went 20-some years without winning there, and then all of a sudden won 3 straight. So
the odds, I just don't think. I think they're going to come out, and I think all games. even the Eagles game is going to be close in the first half. No one's going to be ready to play their regular offense, in at least in the first quarter. Will the Eagles try and go long with their receivers? Probably. They'll check it first. Saquon's going to get his runs, so we'll see what happens. Goddard's going to get some passes, and we'll see.
I mean, there are some great games in the opening weekend. Your game, then you got the game in Brazil, Chargers and Chiefs, Lions and Packers. You got Baltimore and Buffalo. I mean, Chicago, Minnesota. I mean, these are some monster games right out of the get-go.
It's crazy. Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely amazing. Yeah. I mean, Sunday. I mean, all right, let's go. Let me go here. Hold on a minute. Yeah, Ravens and Bills Sunday Night Football. You can't beat that.
Yeah,
It'll be
awesome.
fun. It'll be fun.
Indeed.
All right, birthday boy.
All right, let's
have a
wrap
nice
her up then,
birthday.
I guess, eh? Well, we'll see everybody in a couple of weeks. Thanks to everybody who welcomed us into their homes on their laptops and computers, however they watch us around the world here on the Extravaganza. For our host, my tag team partner, Mitch Bernstein, yours truly, Captain Lou, saying keep your heads up, keep your sticks down, keep your feet moving, and as always, keep your minds open. So long, everybody.
Take care, folks. See you in 2.